What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today, you guys, with another review for The Real Housewives of New Jersey. This is season 14, episode 12, and this episode is titled Don't Trial This at Home. And before we go ahead and get into it, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and also by turning on your post notifications, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's discuss the Real Housewives of New Jersey, shall we? All right, you guys. I want to first start off by saying that my bad that this is late. What happened today was it's been a busy day at work. I have a lot of training that I'm trying to get in before the end of the month. That some of them I forgot, two of them I forgot about. So I'm just trying to do that so I can be compliant. And I forgot all about Jersey because I meant to go live at 4:30 this afternoon, but yeah, I forgot to watch the episode. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comments or in the live chat if you are watching. What did you guys think about this episode? And also, next week is the season finale. Whew. I don't know what's going to happen on Sundays now that Jersey is getting ready to go off because, I mean, I guess New York could be next or Salt Lake City. Not quite sure which one is coming up next. But either way I go, let's get into this episode. So I'll start up with the scene that didn't give me a whole lot to go on, and that's going to be the scene with the guys, which we has two split scenes. So you had Louis at his house, and he had Bill Aiden over there, as well as Polly and his dad were there, right? Now, before they got there, Louis was talking to his dad about this situation. Actually, it was Teresa talking to Louis' dad about this situation with Margaret, right? And Teresa let Louis know that Jen Fessler had called her because she had told Margaret about Teresa inviting them over to her house, and she feels that Margaret got in Jen Fessler's ear and told her not to come, right? So then Teresa says she's just laying out facts when it comes to Margaret. And we'll talk about that whole situation in a little bit. But Teresa's saying for 3 years that Margaret has been hurting her. And I was just like, oh, okay, if you say so. Like I said, you guys, I'm going to talk about it a little bit later because what Teresa has to reveal. I just don't know if it was the aha moment or the get you gotcha moment that she was going for because I have some thoughts and opinions about it. But like I said, we'll discuss it when we get to it. Now, what I also do want to say is that scene with Louis, Bill, and them saying doing that thing for the women because of that trip that they were getting ready to go on. It was so cringeworthy, and I was just like, please end this scene. But then we move over to Joe's crib, right? So he has Joe Beningo, he has Frank Catania, he has um, what's his name, John Food over there. Nate had a prior engagement, and we know, like I said, Bill and Polly they are over to Louis' crib, right? So while they were talking, Margaret called, and you know, Margaret told the guys because Joe put it on the speakerphone, and so Margaret was telling the guys about this whole thing with finding out from what's her name, Jen Fessler, that Teresa had invited all the girls over to her crib to basically try to lay out whatever she wants to lay out about Margaret, talking about they spent $400,000 in attorney's fees and all that kind of stuff. Okay, I mean, I guess. But here's I'll say this for later, but I will say it real quickly. But his ex filed a restraining order against him. But okay, you know what? If Teresa likes it, that's the problem with that's one of my issues with Teresa. She's so male identified. But hey, it's neither here nor there. You guys can tell me what you guys think and feel Oh, also, I was leaving out the part that John Fuda had an allergic reaction. I'm so glad that they called the paramedics for him because he was being stubborn when Joe Beningo was telling him exactly what the hell is going on. Like, you're in anaphylactic shock. Like, you need to go to the hospital. And he's talking about, no, he's not. I'm like, nah, bro, you need to go. Especially when you're talking about your throat that's closing up. That is an allergic reaction. I know what an allergic reaction is because I ate some peanuts and I'm allergic to peanuts. And that's the exact same thing that happened to me. My throat closed up. So I'm glad that they called the paramedics. But that was really it. What we got with the guys. You guys feel free to let me know your thoughts, your opinions in the comments below, and in the live chat if you're here. And we'll go ahead and move on to the next scene, shall we? No, well, the next person. All right, you guys. So next up, let's talk about Rachel. Wasn't really a whole lot with Rachel in this episode. We actually only got this one scene with Rachel with her daughter. And Rachel was talking about the progress that her daughter has made since having her procedure. She's speaking, she's standing on her own. So all really good things. And like I said, that was really all we had with Rachel scene. Wasn't much else to see. It was just a quick scene. If you blinked, you missed it. Now, I want to talk about this real quick because I know Andy has mentioned it. Um, so New Jersey, I think New Jersey is going to get the full New York City reboot. Let me know what you guys think about that. Like, do you guys think that they should get a full reboot? Hey, Greta, how are you doing tonight? I'm shocked. I didn't even expect anybody to be on this live with me, so I appreciate you for joining me. I really do. But yeah, go. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Like I said, Jersey is getting, according to Andy, they're getting a full reboot. Like, let me know how you guys feel about that. With Jersey getting a full reboot, I'm okay with it. I think what they could, I know people feel a way about this, but I definitely do think that they should get rid of Teresa. I definitely feel like they should get rid of Jennifer. And I even thrown in Margaret and Melissa, right? I think they could keep Rachel and Danielle. I think that Rachel and Danielle are really good additions to this show. And I think that they could do well if they keep those two on this show. I've heard people talk about Jen Fessler. Um, Honestly, when it comes to Jen Fessler, I don't feel too. I do feel like she's two faced, but I don't know how I feel about her returning. Greta, you say I didn't watch the episode yet, but I heard what happened. Yeah, it was a. What I will say, this was a. It wasn't a terrible episode, but the only thing that I had an issue with was Teresa, and I'll talk about Teresa in just a bit. Let me go ahead and move on to Jennifer Aiden because I feel a way about something that she said. Like, you got a lot of Jennifer got a lot of mouth and a lot of balls. Jennifer got a lot of mouth and a lot of fucking balls. Greta says definitely get rid of Teresa and Jen Aiden. So we see Jennifer with Bill, right? So she was asking Bill how was his day and all that kind of stuff. So she was telling Bill about Rachel's party and how Danielle was late, and she just ignored Danielle. And so then she was telling him about how she told the girls, they talked about sex, and how she told them that she milks his prostate, right? Now, Bill, I got a little bit of a side eye for you because you told Joe that you had surgery that you had to go to, but instead you went to Louis's crib. Why not just why not just be like, hey, I already made plans with Louis and I'm gonna hang out with Louis instead of lying. Now, Jen asked, well, is Nate coming? And he says, well, Nate said that he had something else that he had coming up. So Jennifer called Nate a little, she called him a bitch. Excuse me. She called him a bitch boy too. And I was like, Jennifer, you got a lot of mouth. You and I already got popped once by Danielle. Don't get popped twice, Bob, which I know that's going to happen in the season finale next week. But my whole problem with Jennifer was Danielle is not Melissa. Like you call Joe little bitch boy, and Melissa didn't do much to you. But I feel like you, if you say that to, damn, I wish they were having a reunion. My God, I wish there was a reunion because I would love to have. I just would love to see Danielle's reaction to her calling her husband a bitch boy. Oh God, I can't stand Jennifer Aiden. Like it is something about that woman just irks my spirit. And so then Jen was talking about this retreat that Dolores wants to do right with the girls, and she was talking about like Jennifer is delusional because she feels like Danielle should come to her and make up with her. No, ma'am. You started with Danielle. When I say delusional, if delusional was, if you could look up the definition of delusional in the dictionary, which you can't, and you will see Jennifer Aiden's picture there. Now that you won't see, but Jennifer is delusional. Like for her to sit there and say that Danielle should come to her, why can't you go to her? Because it takes two to tango. Was Danielle arguing with you? Yes. But you, again, pushed Danielle. Like, I'm so over Jennifer Aiden. I really, truly am. I really, really am. But hey, let me know what you guys think about that. And we will go ahead and move on to the next person. Black Dolores. So we see Dolores. So Dolores called up Jen Fessler, right? And remember, the cast trip, the girls' trip this season was supposed to be to the Berkshires, and you know, um, she's on the phone with Jennifer Fessler, letting her know like, "Hey, I found this house in the Berkshires. It's got one house and it's got a guest house, so it's big enough for all of us to be there together. Some of us can be in the house together, and then the people who don't really get along, they with other people, they can be separated, basically, right?" And I get where Dolores is going with this, but there's too much animosity amongst this group. I know she was like she just wants to get the girls together. They don't have to be best friends. They don't have to be they don't have to kumbaya or nothing like that. But then I was like, well, what do you expect for them to do, Dolores? If they're not gonna kumbaya, if they're not gonna, let bygones be bygones, I don't know what you're asking for, and I don't think any of them at this point would be willing to do that. Melissa and Teresa weren't interacting with each other. Margaret and Teresa don't see it for each other. Jennifer and Danielle don't see it for each other. Rachel doesn't see it for Teresa. Like there's so much animosity with every person, pretty much. Whereas, do I think Dolores is in the middle? She can be, right? But I don't think Dolores is firm with certain people. I won't say who I think that is, but you know, cool. So then we got another scene with Dolores. So Dolores was telling Polly about the house they were going to go to. So the reason why they didn't go on this trip is because the house caught on fire. And I was like, was that a sign from God? Was that like a omen or something? Because it's so weird that before y'all were getting ready to go to on this trip, the house caught on fire. So she also told him about this conversation that she had with Margaret, and we'll talk about that in just a minute as well. And then Polly told her about what happened when they were over at Louis's house with those videos that they did, and I was like, I hope y'all burn those videos because it was very cringeworthy. I'm just gonna put it out there that I thought it was cringe. You guys may not have thought it was cringe, but I thought it was absolutely cringe. But that's it for Dolores. So we're going to move on over to Margaret. So we got Margaret. So Margaret is meeting up with Jen Fessler, right? Here's my thing when it comes to Jen Fessler. Do I feel like she needed to tell Margaret that Teresa invited them over to the house to talk about what findings they found out with this court case? No. Because here's my thing, I would have never entertained Teresa. That's number one. If you sit here and text me about my friend and say, "Oh, I got my attorney coming over to my house because my attorney found some dirt on Margaret," I would have texted Teresa immediately back and said, you know what, Teresa, I'm cool with you. Margaret has been my friend for years. I don't want to get drugged in the middle of this. And I would have texted Teresa in that moment and said, no, I'm not coming. And it would have never been anything for me to tell my friend because she would have gotten because Teresa wouldn't have gotten the response she wanted from me. Like I said, I would have nipped that in the bud. I would told her, you know what, Teresa, thank you for the invite, but no, thank you. Like that's messy. You want me to come over to your house so you can talk shit about my friend? I think not. They also talked about Joe. So Joe hasn't gone in for his biopsy yet. Now, let me know if anybody knows in the comments or in the live has anything been said about Joe if he has cancer, if he doesn't. I hope he doesn't. Now, so Margaret got pissed off, and I didn't blame Margaret for getting pissed off. I honestly didn't. So Margaret called up Dolores and Danielle, and she didn't really talk to them for that long because her food came out. Her food came out, and she was, whatever she was drinking, she was like, I don't want my food to get cold and all that kind of stuff. So I'll talk to you guys later. But I got where she was coming from. Like, why would you sit down with her for her to basically talk shit about me? Like, no. So Dolores' whole thing was she just wanted to hear Teresa out, but she says it won't change anything. Then I was like, so if it won't change anything, so what's the purpose in sitting down with her? Like I was kind of confused about that part. That didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It won't change anything, but I want to hear her out. That's why I say Dolores isn't 100% Switzerland. That's why I say what I say about Dolores not being Switzerland, because you want to sit down with her, but it won't change anything for you. So again, I ask the question: then what is the true purpose of you sitting down with Teresa? But hey, if it makes sense to Dolores, then it makes sense to Dolores. But it doesn't make sense. Who it don't make sense to is me, and I don't think it made sense to Margaret either. Now we'll wrap up this episode with Teresa. Now to the tree huggers, please stay out of my like. If you guys don't agree with what I say, it's fine. But don't come in my comments or in my live talking about the tree haters. I don't hate this woman. I don't know her. Like I've said plenty of times before, am I a fan of Teresa's? No. Am I a fan of Melissa's? No. Am I a fan of Margaret's? Yes. But if you've listened to any of my reviews that I've done this season, I've said it I've said when I felt like Margaret was wrong, and it's not going to change. I'm going to always call out who I need to call out, right? Now, Teresa. So, Teresa has all the girls over to the house, and her attorney, Jim Leonard, came over. I just have one question about Jim Leonard. Do you not have any other clients besides Teresa? Because for you to be able to drop whatever you're doing for filming purposes of this show to go sit down with a bunch of women to tell them some findings that you guys found out in court, but you're not Louis' attorney in this case. What are like? Do you not have any other clients? Like, I really have that question. What do you not have any other clients, or are you that thirsty for fame that you're on this show? Because that's really what it's giving. That you either thirsty for fame or you ain't got no damn clients. Because I can't imagine any attorney in their day is going to just be like, oh yeah, let me clear my schedule so I can go over to my this other client's house and have a conversation about a case that I'm not fucking involved in. How much sense does that make? How much is Teresa paying you for this? Because Jim, I would like if I were ever in a legal ish in legal shit, you would be the absolute last attorney that I would ever call. Like he would be the last person that I would call. So the girls get there to the house, right? Jim sits down with them and they're talking about this case with Louis and his ex, right? Where she filed the restraining order against Louis. Now, I already knew I already knew what it was, because if you guys haven't been on social media, the account Melissa's old nose has said it previously what was going to happen. That Jim was going to sit down with the ladies, basically tell the ladies that, Margaret has been in communication with Louis' ex. And the whole thing is that, according to Teresa and Jim, which again, I don't understand Jim because you're not representing Louis in this case. So, how do you know all this information? Like, wouldn't that be attorney client privilege? But I'm not a lawyer, so I'm just asking questions. Like, nothing makes sense with this. So yeah, that was the big bombshell, that Margaret has been in contact with the ex-girlfriend, ex-fiance, and according to Teresa, the woman has been giving Margaret things so that she could talk about Louis. And Teresa talking about those videos that came out, and I was like, Teresa, don't you think that, like, how do you know that maybe the woman didn't give it to one of her friends and say, "Hey, girl, make a fake burner account and upload this stuff"? I mean, look at Salt Lake City with Monica. Monica had a fake burner account. How do you know that this woman don't have a fake? Like, you're putting everything on Margaret, but the same stuff that you're saying that Margaret did is the same stuff that you're being accused of, Teresa. Like, you're being accused of the same thing that Margaret has been accused of. So it's like pot meet the kettle. And everybody that was sitting there was like, "This is what you're talking about?" Like, nobody was surprised. Dolores wasn't surprised. Like, nobody was surprised, but Teresa felt like she just put a draw four on you in Uno. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess. So then they talked about the retreat, and Dolores let them know that the house burnt down. And Teresa gonna sit over and say that's a omen. I was like, girl, it's a omen. But she's talking about how she wants to get the girls just to sit down and see if they can kind of squash things. And we're gonna see what's happening. We're gonna see what happens next week in the season finale. But yeah, you guys, that was really the episode. I'm looking at Teresa like, girl, you didn't really do much. But if Teresa felt like that she felt vindicated with this whole situation with Margaret, then who am I to say boo, cat, dog, anything of the sort? But that's the episode, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, and share the video, you guys. And until the next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, you guys. Wash your hands, be blessed, and I will see you guys in the next one. So I do believe that Dubai is off this week. It says they'll return on August the 6th. So I think that Dubai is off this week. So I won't see you guys again until Thursday, no, Friday for Orange County. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Like I said, be safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys. And also, be respectful in the comments. If you're a Teresa fan, let's just be respectful. That's all I got to say.